How is everyone doing? Welcome back to the channel. This is Joe with Ohio Wood Burner. It must be because it's right there on my truck. Yeah, I'm wearing, you guys haven't seen my long sleeve shirt. This is about a year old. It's got my new logo on it. When the weather starts turning a little cold, I'll break this thing out. You know, I obviously didn't have any opportunity to wear it this summer because it's been so hot. Okay, I felt lonely because I haven't had anything to complain about with the weather, because the weather in Ohio has just been awesome. Great firewood weather. But we've just had 2 straight days of rain, and if there's anything that we've learned is rain and firewood don't mix. So I got my, where are they at? My muck boots here. I'm gonna show you some things I got going on around the wood yard. And I also wanna talk to you about the evolution of my business and some of the things that I have learned. I'm gonna turn this around. I first have to put my invoices in the truck. I have a delivery coming up. So I have been on deliveries. My sales have been on fire. I have just had a big delivery, a half a cord, and on my way back there were some pallets that were set out for free. So I went ahead and loaded them up. I have a cord going out to a restaurant as soon as I'm done with this video. The wood here is a maple cherry beech mix, and it is just soaking wet. It has just rained non-stop. I had the high school boy down the road that came and loaded this up for me, which was a big help. He has been pretty non-existent so far this year because, you know, these kids got it hard now with this blended schedule. They're online, they're in school, and they're really loading them up with a lot of work for the school year. So they're adjusting to their new life like everyone else is. But I have had a very big delivery. I've had 4 triaxle loads of logs delivered. This is 2 of them here. This is ash on top and there's maple underneath. I was real excited to get the ash. This load is ash, and this load is ash. If you were on my one live stream last week, you saw the 1 load getting delivered, and then with our new road that we built through the swampy area. I'll show you that here. These logs are pretty big, and he put the real big ones in the front. I'm going to hit these with the chainsaw and do it with the super splitter, although I think these would fit through my machine. These, though, are pretty big. This log won't fit, so I'll have to go old school on this one here. That's about a 18-inch log, I think. I'll have to bucket and then split it. And you know, that's going to get into what I'm going to talk about today, how this firewood company has evolved over time and how I have learned to be nimble in my decision making on which direction the company goes. But you know, here you go. This is what I'm talking about. This has been bone dry out here. We've had 2 days of rain, and look, it's a swamp already. Just got standing water all over the place. And this is where you just can't get back in here anymore with the trucks, which is going to lead, we'll talk about this road. This was 2 big ash logs that were laying in the front of the pile. I went ahead and cut these up, hit them with the super splitter, and I'm just getting all of this now set up for, this will all be set up and ready to be sold next year. But you may have seen my live feed. These are oak mats. They are 18 feet long and 4 foot wide. So this was 1 mat here. They have a 1-inch bolt that goes through them that holds them all together. And these are big bolts, man. These timbers are about 8 inches square, and these were free. There is a big outfit up on Lake Erie that uses these. They lay them down when they're putting up power lines so that their equipment can drive across them. They're kind of beat up, but we got them for free. I paid my logger, Jesse, to haul them back in here and lay them down. Our thought is this area is so soft, these timbers are going to settle into the ground, and then we will be able to put gravel on top of them to smooth them out. But as they are right now, I could drive my own trucks over this, you know, with smaller tires compared to his gigantic log hauler. So the whole idea is to bridge this moat. This is all low, super soft, to get me to my eventual location, which is back in here. This is high ground. It's pretty high and dry, and this would be my production area. So all these logs would be delivered out here instead of up, you know, on the driveway, because everything that we have delivered is hovering around the pavement, and that is because the loggers can't offload. It's so soft around here. If they get, you know, they got to get into the grass to put the outriggers down, because that would tear up the driveway. But it just gets so soft, especially, you know how it gets in late fall and then in the winter when it snows and then it thaws. You know, the ground just gets so soft, and this is the situation that we're trying to combat. All right, let me turn this camera around again. I'm going to show you. This would be the way in for the loggers, and you can just see how soft, you know, even right here, I still got to take care of this. This is just 6 inches down. It's just too soft even right now for the trucks even to get onto the timber road. All right. These were the logs that got delivered. This is 2 triaxle loads. So this is mostly ash right here, and then this is mostly maple over here. And this will all be getting processed soon as my winter, well, my fall delivery schedule is taken care of. Our sales have been on fire. I've had multiple deliveries every day for the last 2.5 weeks. I think I took one Sunday off. I haven't even got a chance to do my tune-up on my Yappa. I want to change the oil in it. I got to put a couple cleats back on the outfeed belt that had gotten pulled off. So that is, this is all great, you know, to be this busy, but this is where I'm getting at with this business. It's kind of like when we had our kids, when we had our first daughter, you know, you learn right away that your children come without instructions. You don't get an owner's manual on how to raise your kids. Yeah, so you just do it by what you've learned being a kid yourself. You may look for expert advice from your own parents or from psychologists or whatever it is. And you know, the same thing goes, and that's what I'm learning, the same thing goes with the way a business is. You know, I guess there really is no instructions on how to run your business. You got to figure it out yourself. But, you know, you can still look for help from the experts. There are still, you know, accountants, business mentors, operator, anyone that you could look to for advice on how to run your business. And that's been my case here. You know, I have an idea, just like how I was going to be a parent. I have an idea on how I'm going to run a business too. And I'm not an expert. And the more I get into it, the more I realize, you know, the less that I know. I had worked with recently an accountant. He's trying to help me just zero in on where, you know, to maximize the potential that this business has. Yeah, and so we're having discussions, and he would say, well, Joe, what is your EBITDA, your earnings before interest, taxes, and amortization? You know, I don't know. I don't know. And then, you know, he said, well, what is your cost of goods delivered? And I don't know. I don't know what they are. I know, but you know what I do know is I have a lot more money in the bank now than I did when I started. That I did at the beginning of the month. Okay, so I'm growing that way. Now, when he told me what the formula was to figure all this out, okay, I could get to that. I could get you that number, but it's just, I just don't know. You know, and the more I get into this, the more I'm learning. But what I have learned and what I would share with you guys is you have to be nimble and you have to be ready to change on a dime. And I hear a lot of comments, and I'm reading comments about, boy, I can't wait when I want to start selling firewood because I just got to get everything in place first and then I'm going to start doing it. And that, in my opinion, and you might get a different opinion from someone else, but from where I'm standing and from what I see, that is just the wrong way to do it. If you want to start getting into a business, if you want to start a lawn care or firewood or tree service or a laundromat or whatever it is, my advice to you is to do it. Okay? If you want to start selling firewood, don't wait until you get everything in place. If you want to start selling firewood, start selling firewood and then figure it out. And that's what I did. I had an idea on how I wanted to start this business. It was going to be just small quantity residential delivery. But the first customer call I got was a restaurant. And I almost told that restaurant no. But I said yes to that restaurant. And here I am. I was able to at least not be so wrapped up in my vision and the plan. My plan was, I guess my goal was maintain a lifestyle that I can be proud of, that I would be able to take care of my dad at the time, that I'd be able to keep the house, that I'd be able to keep gas in the gas tank. That was the plan. So I was able to change from residential to restaurant. And then, with restaurants, I was able to get my grasp on that whole market. And then I was able to get into residential. And this is how I am being nimble. And here is another lesson that I have just learned is a lot of you guys know that I've been struggling with supply. I can't get logs delivered to my wood yard here. The last delivery I've had since these 4 was back in July, and it is brutal when you are in business selling firewood. You don't have firewood to sell. You could have the greatest plan, but really it all comes down to inventory. If you have nothing to sell, what are you doing? And I've struggled. I've tried everything I can to find firewood. So when I finally got a hold of logger Jesse that you've met on the live stream, and I asked him to be honest with me because I need to hear it. I have to improve and I have to get better. I said, what can I do to get a better supply, a more consistent supply of firewood poles? He says there's a couple things, okay, that you got going against you. Number one, your yard's too soft, and it's a challenge, and I worry about getting my truck in here and getting stuck, and it's staying here all winter long, or I'll have to pay for a big oversized tow truck to come pull me out. Number one. Number two, the sizes of logs that your machine will handle. He says, you have told me on many of times that you just want 14-inch and under, and you could handle an occasional big log, but your challenge is yourself physically doing a bigger log all by yourself. And I have had a lot of loads that I could have brought you, but I took them to someone else because I figured you wouldn't have wanted it because there was some big wood. Okay, so here is my situation, and here is where I have to pivot. I don't want to do tree service wood because of 1,001 reasons. It's just too much labor. You're not in control of your sizes, your species, infestation. I just don't want to deal with it. I still want to do this route with the logging trucks. I'm more productive. My machine can just zip right through these. I just stepped in a big water hole. My machine can just zip right through these. But the challenge would be if I get these bigger logs, okay? Here's where I need to pivot. My only splitter is my super splitter. And the challenge that I have, because I'm in my 50s now, is picking these gigantic rounds up and putting them on the production table to get them split. My thought is, and here's another pivot, I don't know what the right answer is, But this might be the business talking to me where I need to go for my next step. And that would be getting a commercial splitter, buying more equipment, because these commercial splitters are really slick. And I had that Easton made that Adam from Hometown Acres brought here. That was eye-opening to me, because it picks the gigantic round up off the ground, and that is just one less wear and tear opportunity on your body. And if I get one of these big splitters, it changes my game. It makes me more versatile. The loggers can bring me more wood, and within those loads would be smaller logs that my Yappa can handle, and the bigger logs, I can knock those out pretty quick and not have to worry about having these huge rounds that I just can't deal with. So, this business didn't come with any instructions, but that is my thought. Maybe the time is here that I need to pivot and change again. My whole belief was I could run this firewood business with just one processor, and I couldn't buy a big processor because I just can't afford it. I would also have to buy more equipment to load them. I'd have to get a loader. But I went with the smaller one. It handles smaller logs, but they're easier for me to process. But now, the supply is affected. If I open up my process to not just the Yappa Firewood processor, but also a professional grade commercial splitter, one that can pick a log up, and probably a conveyor, because I'm not into picking logs up off the ground. All right. But that is, I think, the business talking to me. Like I said, there is no instructions that come, but I am listening. I'm going to turn this around. Jesse had mentioned the challenge for him to get in and out. Well, here we go. So I went ahead and bought these timbers, and we're going to fix that. So I'm curing all of these problems that I'm hearing on why I'm not getting the logs in here that I need, and I'm trying to make positive change. So there you go. Guys, I am just a simple guy from Ohio, and I've had this idea for a while about value-added firewood, and I'm still trying to do it. The challenge is what I have learned. There is a difference between production and making firewood. I used to make firewood, but now I'm in production, and production brings all different kinds of challenges. Supply, not just finding the supply, but getting it here, getting it processed, getting it put into the drying yard, all in an efficient manner. So those are my challenges. I think my delivery, my scheduling, my customer service, I think we got that going on pretty good. But we are now trying to fix our supply and getting all of these logs here and getting them made into firewood as efficiently as I can. So there's the challenge, guys. If you got any ideas on what else I can do to improve, you are free to leave comments down below. I love listening to your guys' comments. And please, if you haven't, please subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like it as well. All right, everyone, I'm saying hello from rainy Ohio, and now I'm going to say goodbye. I have to get this trailer down to the restaurant, and then I'm going to go get it loaded. I found another cord that I'm buying. I'm bringing it home. I'll be getting these pallets in the back of my truck stacked, and then this truck has to be loaded tonight for a delivery that's going out in the morning. Busy, but it's a good busy. Everyone, have a great day.